Once again, I just want to thank the creator for allowing us to be in this space where I can say something and hopefully it resonate with you. Hopefully you take something from it. What you want, you keep. What you don't have to. So just that. And then, I'm the guy 𝗧cie𝘅𝗶𝗰, and this is the Dream Team Manifest. The numbers been going up and up and up. You know what I mean? I want to thank y'all for sharing. I want to thank y'all for subscribing. I want to thank y'all for everything. I'm dedicated to giving 4 of these a month, if not more. So I did 1 this month. This is 2. You'll be getting 2 more before February 1st, guaranteed, because got to stick to the schedule. I had a little setback. I had to deal with, things that everybody had to deal with. It seemed like a lot of people had to deal with this situation. I'm not going to go on record and say what that is, but, I was out for a few weeks, sickly, but I'm well. Even when I was quote unquote sick, I was getting well, so, I'm great. I feel great. It definitely could have been fatal, you know what I'm saying? But I'm great. Here we go. Toxic relationships. What's my take on toxic relationships? First of all, I just wanted to use this because it's like a hot button word. You get these words every so often that people cling to and use, like pick me, like, toxic, like, the like women empowerment, like just hot button, like words that people just start to overuse once they figure out what they actually mean. Like it's like a child with a new word. They just keep trying to find ways to insert it into conversation instead of just like letting it flow natural. So toxic relationships. What is toxic anyway? All right, let's not even go to the relationship part. Let's start at toxic. What does toxic mean? Toxic means like something is bad for the environment that is in, right? So if you see like one of those little waste things that be having toxic waste, it's, it's because it could mess up the environment. And, they got to cap it off and people got to wear suits just to touch it and things of that nature, What is a relationship? A relationship is any 2 people in any way in close relation. It's really that simple. It's because people think relationships is like even like human to human. That's not necessarily true. Like you can have a relationship, like some people have a bad relationship with food and they end up overweight. That's you know what I mean? Like that's toxic because what they putting in, they can't control the way they feel about this particular thing, which is the food, and then they overdo it. They don't know when to stop. And then they end up with the results of looking like they don't know when to stop. Because they committing a deadly sin, which is gluttony, but people also do that with sex. And you can see when somebody's like over sexualized, like they have a bad relationship with sex, or people do it with material items. And you can see that they're broke, like not poor because that's a mindset, but they're broke. Like they don't have any money. And that's because they have a toxic relationship with material items. So all right, so let's put that together. Something that's bad for the environment that it's in, which is toxic. Because let's be clear, everything that's toxic here, it's probably some, like, okay, let's just say Mars is like a real thing. Would the toxic waste here be toxic on Mars? I don't know. It might not be. You know what I mean? So once again, I want to just overstate the fact that, or reiterate the fact that toxicity is only pertaining to the environment that it's in. Somebody could be, or something could be toxic to this person that's not to that person. It's like some metals that they call, even metals that they call precious metals, sometimes they still irritate people's skin. Believe it or not, it's people who can't wear some of the most precious metals. It will irritate their skin. Some people could wear rhodium, like, so they get like the rhodium plated, like they get like basically fake jewelry, but it'll have like some type of silver with rhodium on it, on the outside of it, like a coating, and the rhodium will actually irritate their skin. And then you got somebody else who could wear the same exact chain and then not irritate their skin at all. Some people could put on a fake ring and their finger turn green, like me. I've done it. Had on a fake ring and my finger turned green. You know what I mean? Whether I knew it was fake or not when I bought it is a different story. But my finger turned green, and I actually let somebody hold it. And they finger turned green. Well, actually, my finger didn't turn green. Their finger turned green. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. So, I don't know. I guess I didn't wear it enough, or maybe I'm just not allergic to it. Remember, like, it's probably not in my environment. So like I said, you could have, all right, let's put it together. Toxic relationship. That means one or more, two or more things, or it could be people, it could be anything, because we know that's a relationship. The air got a relationship with water, so it don't have to be human beings. So two things in a close proximity often, and then toxic being something that's bad for the environment that it's in. So when you put it together, these things would be bad for their own environments, like not their own environments, but that person or thing's environment. So it's basically two things that don't mix, oil and water, right? Let's be clear. It's somewhere right now where, like, don't you know those movies where it'd be a serial killer and then somehow they find a girl that be like in love with them, and you be looking at the girl like, yo, you're crazy, you're with a serial killer, but at the end of the day, she like a little mini serial killer too. Like, she like that serial killer lifestyle, and that's her thing. So that dude, even in that situation, a serial killer wouldn't be toxic to this person because they on the same wave. Now, these two people together could be toxic for everybody else, but that's another thing. We're just talking about within the relationship. So, you know, you might have two people that is so on the same wavelength, no matter what it is, that they're not actually toxic for each other. Only way they would be toxic for each other is if I come along, or you come along, or whoever come along, look at them, right? And then judge them according to whatever standards they possess or whatever standards I possess, and say, oh, they're toxic for each other because they're making each other, they're, you know, encouraging serial killer activity for each other. So it's just a cycle of toxicity. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying that's not true. What I'm saying is that's a judgment. That's just a judgment call. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we don't know what these two people have to do. Like, we don't know their life path. They could be helping each other on their life path. You know what I mean? Maybe they die in a tragic way, and that's the way they were supposed to go out. They're supposed to help each other meet each other's fate. Like, you get what I'm saying? So the judgment is got to be coming from the outside. Because, like I said, the person that's gluttonous, if they get with somebody that's gluttonous, guess what? Yeah, they both going to be 900 pounds, but they both going to be happy because they're going to look at somebody in front of them that's not judging them, that's not looking at them like they're a weirdo or some type of anomaly because they 900 pounds, because they're 900 pounds also. And they're going to look at that and they're going to be like, yo, I'm happy. I'm so happy to be in this relationship with you. And you can't tell somebody how to be happy. Like, some people is happy doing some crazy shit, but it's only crazy to me. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how to be happy. So at the end of the day, people be in relationships that they want to be in, because anything they don't want to do, they don't. I say this all the time. Like, I might have said this 600 times on the manifest already. I've only been doing this for like a year and a half, 2 years. 600 times I said, yo, people do what they want to do. They get what they want to get all the time. Because if somebody look at their sneakers and they be like, damn, I need a new pair of sneakers. What is they saying? Yo, my relationship with this sneakers got to end. These sneakers is looking toxic on my feet. I got to get some new ones. If somebody could order a whole platter, get it delivered, $30. The platter not good. They don't like the food. What they gonna do? They gonna turn around and be like, I gotta eat something else. They gonna immediately go, man, even though I spent $30 on this, I'm about to spend $25 on this because I know this is good. I was just trying this. And they do it immediately. So you can't sit there and tell me that people don't get what they want. So these relationships that's supposedly toxic, you got to look at them from a totally objective standpoint and go, oh, this person is just in a place where this is their shit right now. This is their vibe. They in a relationship that is, whether it's good in the long run or not, is soothing to them right now. And they haven't passed that level where they don't need to be around that type of energy. Right now, they feel like they want to, or they need to be around that type of energy. So who are you to say this is toxic and this is not toxic? It's only according to the environment that is in. And fortunately for everybody, they're their own environment. So it would be up to that person to say it's toxic. Yo, believe it or not, man, some people really like, some people really like getting beat up. Like, they like getting hit. That's not a good thing, for your body to get bruised and things of that nature, like everybody know. But once again, that's a judgment call. If some people could take like the abuse to their body and feel like, man, I love this shit. It's people who, what do you think UFC fighters and boxers and people that always fight on the street and shit like that, what do you think they into? They get pleasure out of that shit. Whether they punching or taking a punch or both or whatever, they get pleasure out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So how I'm gonna come along and say somebody toxic for beating somebody? I know people who've been in a relationship where they getting beat up for 10 years. Right? I know people like that. And it's like, yo, you getting beat up for 10 years? That's just your style. Yo, you got to come to grips with, yo, I like this shit. Don't be like that because if getting beat up was somehow normalized, if getting hit upside your head was like the norm, and then what wasn't normal was a relationship where people don't put their hands on you, you wouldn't feel so bad about getting your hands put on you. So don't act like because other people don't like what you doing and they putting judgment on what you doing, that it actually feels toxic to you. It don't, or you would have left. That's why I just gave the example. People buy sneakers. Oh, I need some sneakers. People eat food. Oh, I need some food. I need this specific food. I want to have a relationship with this food. I got a dope relationship with this food. Let me get that food. So if you wanted to walk away, you could at the end of the day. And I know I'm not downplaying the mental strength, the spiritual strength it take to be like, man, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Or you might just have to lean on that person for a while financially. But at the end of the day, you can get out of all that shit. You can. It's no way you can tell me you can't get out of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Even with a person who feel like they gonna hurt you if you got a relationship. Hey, guess what? If you want to get out of a relationship that bad, you're gonna have to take that chance. You take chances just crossing the street. So it's no excuse for I'm in a relationship that is toxic, but I'm not getting out of it. There's no way. There's no way you could tell me that. So toxic relationships exist all around, man. People got toxic relationships with their car. Like, they don't want to let go of a car that, let go of a car that's giving them so many problems. They spending more money than they would just buying a new car flat out. You don't put $5,500 into a $500 car when you could have had a $6,000 car and not had no problems, but it's some people who go about it that way of, saving their $6,000 and buying a new car, or not a new car, but like a better car than the $500 car, clearly, right? And then it's people who go about it like, yo, I'm gonna just keep fixing this $500 car because I feel like I can't live without this car. And then that's when judgment come into being toxic. If somebody feel like they can't live without something, yo, I can't say that's toxic, because if they said something that I agree with after they said I can't live without, then I wouldn't be saying it's toxic at all. If somebody said, yo, I can't live without God, you wouldn't be like, yo, your relationship with God is really toxic. You really need this God you keep talking about. I mean, what does this guy have on you? Like, what does this woman have on you? You know what I mean? You wouldn't be saying that, because everybody agrees generally that God is real and God is a good thing to be. But like, if the same person came to you and was like, yo, I really love the devil, man. The devil is everything to me. You'll be like, the devil is what? That's only because you agree with one and don't agree with the other one. So when I was becoming, I put it like this, and this is the analogy I use, the last one. I was coming out of eating all types of shit that was bad for me, like, chicken and, bunch of bread and cheese and shit like that, right? Bunch of shit that I felt like was bad for me. Now, that's necessarily bad, because anybody that eat that, do your thing. I only don't fuck with the vegans that be, acting vegan and ain't vegan. Like, if you want to just do your thing, do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, I was coming up out of that. And with that came, like, me coming from that, I had to, what was my point of saying this shit? Anyway, I'll just talk. I be freestyling this whole shit. You know what I mean? So, I was coming out of that and I was transitioning, and I felt like, I don't know. Yo, what in the world was I saying that for? You get sidetracked, and this is my thought process be crazy sometimes. But at the end of the day, I switched up what I felt like I needed to switch up to ultimately be a better person. And I came out on the other side of that saying, I'm so glad I got out of that toxic relationship with that food I had, and I'm in a new relationship with this. You could imagine going from eating cheesesteaks to being raw vegan. That's a hell of a jump. So you can't tell me, oh, if somebody is in a quote unquote toxic relationship, they can't leave. I went cold turkey from the night before eating, what did I have? I had like a chicken fried rice or something from shrimp fried rice. I think I had from, the Chinese store. The very next day I was like, I'm raw vegan. I ain't know how I was going to do it. I ain't know you know what I'm saying? I did a lot of research, but just actually applying a lot of things, I wasn't familiar with that at all. But I said, you know what? I'd rather blaze a trail in the dark than stay in the light with this bullshit. So I blazed the trail in the dark. You know why? Because I wanted to get out of that toxic relationship I had with the food that was making me sick. That was giving me tonsillitis every 6 months. That was making me have issues with digestion and, things of that nature, and making me huge. You know what I mean? 20, 30 pounds overweight and things of that nature. So I knew it had to end. I said, I got to get out of this toxic relationship. I did it. So if I could jump from eating cheesesteaks to raw vegan, one day, December 31st, I was eating cheesesteaks. January 1st, I was raw vegan. So you can't tell me somebody can't. You got to be comfortable with just feeling naked. You know what I mean? You got to be comfortable with feeling naked. When I unplugged from the Matrix, that was a big thing. You know what I mean? Because I had a toxic relationship with the Matrix. I felt like shit was real that really wasn't real. I was caught up in the illusion. But you know what? I said, man, I'm not scared to be naked. And not in a literal sense, but just spiritually. I'm just like, I'm not scared to just be like, yo, I don't know nothing. Let me deprogram and relearn everything. Let me see what's really out here. Let me bring a lot of information to me and see what resonate with me like I do with y'all every time I get on here. So it worked out. It's going to work out every time. So my advice, if you in a toxic relationship, only you can say you're in a toxic relationship. So if you feel like you're in a toxic relationship, don't be afraid to be naked. You know, you might be tied to somebody, like I said, financially. Don't be scared to just go in a shelter for 3-4 months. Then you get to the, you know how they do in a shelter. You get to the little apartment with somebody. If you're saving your money good, like 3 or 4 months, you know what I mean? 6 months, they put you in another place. 1.5 years, you got your own place that you barely even got to pay for. You just got to go through that dark period where, you know, shelters ain't the best, but it's a means to an end. So, like I said, my advice, if you want to get out of toxic relationships, start it right now. Just do it. Just do it. It's the only way, you know what I mean? But for everybody saying somebody's relationship with anything is toxic, that's a judgment call. Just know that. That's on you. You saying that's toxic according to you. We don't know and can't judge anybody's path or where they're going or how, you know what I mean? Everybody, fate and destiny ain't the same. And fate and destiny ain't even the same. So you never know where this person going to end up. You never know how you altering them, they mindset on something. They might be too early for that. They might not get the full lesson of be indulging in this thing, in this toxic relationship. It's lessons you got to learn. Never forget, ain't no such thing as evil in a sense. It's just things that teach you lessons more harsh than other things. You know what I mean? God could say, I love you by saying, you know, you wake up and you got a blessing. You got some type of, or what you would call a blessing, maybe like some type of, $2,000 hit your bank account, you know, that really came out of nowhere. Like you wasn't even expecting it. Oh, you just wake up, you got $2,000 in your bank account. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, God is really looking out for me. Or God could say, yo, I'm gonna put you in a burning building where you think you not getting out of this. You know what I mean? And you somehow make it out. It's the same love. It's just you interpreting. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's some things, some forces, they're a little more harsh with the way they do things. Like, you know, when you, like some shit is sandpaper, you know what I mean? Sandpaper is rough, but it make everything smooth. And then you got smooth shit that makes everything smooth too. So never forget, go through everything fully so you can get the lesson. Because you never know what the lesson is if you don't go all the way through with it. So keep your judgments. Know when you in a toxic relationship or not. Somebody else, they might got to go through something to get to something. I'm the 𝗥𝗲𝗁𝗁. This has been the Dream Team Manifest. Part 25, I believe. This is a dope joint. I love y'all as usual. 3 times.